Hey guys, welcome to Galaxy Sparkles, where I turn imagination into reality. Thank you for tuning in and giving me a few minutes of your time. Leave a comment below and let me know how my craftsmanship has came along. Also like and share this video. And if you'd like to watch my progression as a one-stop shop, subscribe and let us take the journey together. Galaxy Sparkles.
Good morning, guys. It is Monday, January 13th, 2025. Tonight is supposed to be a full moon, so don't be out there howling at the moon's acting too damn wild today, guys, because it could get wild this January 13th. It could, but I'm going to keep myself inside and kind of keep my act right about me. So today's theme ring is, we're going to call the ring the teleport ring. You know, teleportation, kind of like a fax machine. That always used to fascinate my wife, was how a fax machine actually could take a photocopy of it and send it through however it went, through the galaxy, however it went, and ended up on the other side to another fax machine where it copied. It was always so fascinating to her. And anyway, imagine yourself being teleported from one point to another as a whole. Now that is fascinating to me as well. I can understand her being fascinated with the fax machine, but actually teleporting a human being, all their particles, all their neutrons, photons, all that good stuff, electrons, carbon, all that stuff being transported from this point to this point, just like that. Now that's fascinating. So today's is going to actually be the teleport ring. That is the theme. I have some leftover twist wire here that I twisted a couple of days ago. I'm going to run it through the mill, give it some nice form right there, give it some character, give it some pop other than just twist wire. We're going to flatten it a little bit just to give it that little bit of pop. We're going to use this as a top of the ring, not the bezel, but anyway, I have an idea in my mind, so we're going to get this. I have a couple of ideas for the band that's going to go around this thing, and I'm not quite sure which route I'm actually going to take it. It really depends on how the top of the ring kind of turns out and how it looks. So nonetheless, guys, let's get started on this little project. Let's run this thing through the mill and give it some pop, give it a little character. What do you think? Let's go. There we go. We got some resistance there now. Go maybe another half quarter. Let's go a quarter turn. We don't want to go too much. We'll go quarter turn increments, guys, until we like what we see. Now that's getting pretty good right there. I'm glad I just went a quarter, because that's giving it some nice pop, some nice character right there, guys. Without character, we're nothing. You can lose all the money you want in your lifetime and you've lost nothing. Lose your character, you've lost everything, guys. That's all. We got some character in this little project here today, guys. So here we go. Y'all hang tight. We're going to go to the bench and begin forming what the top of the ring is going to look like. We'll begin creating our bezel inside of the top of the ring, and then we'll come up with the design of our band itself. Like I said, I do have a couple of ideas for the band, so you guys hang tight, and I'll see y'all at the bench. All right, guys, I am in the process, just got started using my V file here, and I'm going to file it down so I can get a nice triangle shape. I want it real nice and tight at the tip top and coming in real nice and tight. So I'm going to file this thing down just as much as I need to make that happen. We've actually filed all the way through the very first wire. We definitely don't want to file through the second one. In fact, I think I'm going to stop there because that's getting fairly thin right there. So let's stop there and let's get us some pliers and let's see how tight of a bend we can make here, guys. Here we go. Y'all hang tight. All right, guys, that is the bend I've came up with. That's the one that's going to suit this ring best for the way my stone is and all that good stuff. So let's go ahead and solder that weak point up and continue on this journey. Here we go. Y'all hang tight. Let's solder this thing up together. What I'm going to do is just put a solder ball on top of it and let it do its thing, and we're going to trim it up and can probably make our bezel from there. Then we'll do our band and start beginning to stick it all together. That is the step-by-step plan in my mind. Here we go, imagination into reality like we do here at Galaxy Sparkles. Alright, we'll just use stick on this one, guys. Can't get a solder ball to seem to want to stick on it. There it goes. Alright, guys. We're going to quench it. We're going to cut it. And then we'll begin our bezel for our stone. And we'll continue on. Here we go. Y'all hang tight. Alright, guys. Here we go. We're going to saw through this thing right quick. I got me a catch pan right up under this thing. So when it does fall, if it does fall, it'll fall into a dustpan along with all the little shavings. A lot less cleanup at the end of the day. Alrighty. Well, that just may be enough for a partial of a band. This is what gave me two different ideas of if I was going to have some leftover of this and how much I was going to have, if I could exactly what and what I was going to do there. So we're going to put a little extra thought into that while we're making a bezel, and we will figure out how we're going to make our band here directly. So, all right, guys, y'all hang tight. We're going to start us a bezel real quick for our stone. Here we go. All right, guys, we got our bezel made up. We're going to go ahead and put our backing plate on it so it has something to hold to. I'm going to stick a couple of solder balls in there. I'm going to take my little solder pick, and I'm going to kind of move them where I need them. I'm probably going to put one, two, maybe one on each wall there. So here we go. Y'all hang tight. Let's put some solder balls in here and pick it in place and solder this little unit up and continue on. I think 2 will be sufficient. Alright, guys, we're going to start. Here we go. We're getting some action now. Getting a little flow, boys. pull my heat over here so I can maybe move some solder over here. All right, I like it. All right, guys, I'm gonna quench it, pickle it, and I'm gonna trim it up, and we're gonna begin the band. Still haven't came up with the best solution for my band yet, being the material I have and what I need to make. So we'll see what we don't come up with. I'm gonna get this trimmed up and kind of lay it out and see what I think would look best with this little unit. All right, guys, y'all hang tight. All right, guys, what I've done is flip it upside down so that my twisted wire is actually at the top of the bezel. I want it to be at the nice top portion of the bezel, and I attempted to put some solder balls on it, but it kept messing up, so I'm just going to attempt with the stick here. Hopefully it doesn't move on us once we heat it up and try to lace it up. So let's see what happens here. What I plan on trying to do is actually try to stick the solder in the fire itself and maybe just dribble it on it so then it can take possibly. We'll see how it works out here. Here we go. Just like that. Yep, just like that, guys. All right. My stick solder was getting a little short, so I put my meat protector on, quit burning my damn hands up. I just got over a pretty good one. Took about 2 weeks to heal that bad boy up. Try to keep from making that happen again. Usually you think you stick your hand in the fire, you learn the first time. I don't know, I'm pretty stubborn. All right, guys, y'all hang tight. We're going to quench it and see what we don't come up with for the band. Here we go. All right, guys. I'm not quite sure if this is the right way to do it. This is the way I've kind of envisioned it in my mind to actually work. What I'm going to do is use this as probably the middle band, and I'm going to go ahead and attach it to the other piece that's like that, wrap it around the mandrel, and then attach it to the other side. I'm not quite sure how this is all going to work out yet. We're just going to kind of play it by ear and hope it don't come unsoldered as we begin manufacturing this thing. But I think this is going to be my best solution for my craftsmanship level. It's what's in my mind. It's the way I'm going to rock and roll it. So I'm going to slap a piece of solder on it, heat it up, melt it, solder it up, and see what's next. I'm not quite sure. Just one step at a time, guys. Here we go. Y'all hang tight. All right, guys, we got us a solder ball laid on there, so let's heat this little unit up. Solder that together and try not to overheat it and unsolder anything. There we go. I see, there it is, solder melting. I'm done. I ain't touching no more on it. Once it melts, I'm over it. I ain't trying to move that solder around and manipulate none of that. Unsolder anything. All right, guys, I'm gonna let that set up a minute and harden up. We're gonna quench it and move on to the next step. All right, guys, I'm really glad I kind of done it this way. What's happened is this is definitely going to be way too short to make any sort of ring. So what I'm going to do is get me an overall measurement. I'm going to cut it in half. I'm going to solder the other side to it just like. And at the very top, we're going to have a 3-strand band. This will be in the middle. The twist wire will be in the middle. I'll have another band to wrap all the way around it. And I'll have a twist wire coming off this end, twist wire off that end, making it 3 bands coming off the teleport station itself, and then just 2 bands at the very bottom. So that's the idea, that's the plan. So let's rock and roll this little unit, guys. Here we go. We're on it now. All right, guys, I got my 33 millimeter long pieces, so it's going to make it overall 66 plus whatever the piece here is in between. I didn't measure that. I just knew I needed to have at least a 66 millimeter ring to fit my finger, and so I just made it 33 on each side, actually a little over 33. That way I knew I had plenty. I think I'm going to actually just solder up one side to the twist wire, because if I happen to put this one on, it's going to kind of throw it all out of cattywampus. So I'm just going to do one side at a time. So I'm going to lay some solder balls on there so that as soon as it heats up, the material heats up and it solders, I can pull the heat away and get away from it without unsoldering everything. That is the main goal today, guys. So like I said, I'm a beginner at this stuff, learning, practicing every day, and I just become gaining different techniques, different ideas day after day. Just every day waking up a better version of myself, better techniques, better jeweler, all that good stuff, guys. So, all right, guys, I'm going to quit jibber-jabbering. I'm going to start tossing some solder balls on there, and we'll solder this thing up together. You all hang tight. All right, guys, here we go. We got our solder balls laid on there. We got us a little ruler on the back side holding it together so it don't come apart, hopefully, and all looks nice and well. So let's heat this little unit up and solder it up and finish this little project up, hopefully. This is the crucial part right here, guys, making sure nothing comes unsoldered. So I'm going to be very cautious. This is a pretty crucial point in the project. It's either fail or succeed at this point, guys. So I'm going to heat the very back of the material up, get it nice and up to temperatures, and there we go, we're starting to flow. Trying to get that back to flow as well. There's a little solder ball still left on it, and I would like for it to flow. I think what I'll do is flip it over in just a minute. I hate to mess with it too much. I definitely don't want to fail today. I was thinking about maybe flipping it over and drawing the solder to the other side, but oh, here we go. We're getting some flow action. Try to push that up toward the bezel. Yep, just like that. Get this other side maybe. Yep, there we go. All right, we're gonna call that, guys. We're gonna sit there and let that marinate for just a minute. Let it set up. We'll quench it, pickle it, size it. I'm going to cut it 66 mils from end to end. It's going to be 66 mils. And we'll wrap it around the mandrel and see what we don't come up with. Hopefully a masterpiece today. So far, so good. I'm really liking it. All right, guys, y'all hang tight. All right, guys, here we go. We're going to attempt to wrap this unit around the mandrel. Hopefully no solder joints come loose. It's not looking good over here, I don't think. What's coming loose here? Right there. Shoot, man. All right, guys, let me take a step back, take a peek at this, and figure out what my alternatives are. Here we go. Y'all hang tight. All right, guys, we've actually had to back up and punt on that particular band. It just was not going to work out. It was just too fouled up, and it just wasn't going to work out. So I've came up with a different alternative here for this particular ring. We're going to take a little easy way out, and I'm going to cut probably, just guessing. Let's see how good I'm getting at my millimeters there. I'm going to guess that's probably a 7 millimeter wide ring. That's my guess. I'm pretty good at inches. That's what I was raised with. That's all I ever known. I'm just getting into millimeters, really, as far as measuring wise, which I know my 10 millimeter, 11 millimeter, 15 millimeter wrenches. But as far as actually measuring in millimeters, I am very new to this. I mean, within the last, since November of 2024, I have hardly ever measured in millimeters, but I'm practicing, I'm learning. And I think it's a great measuring. I think it's great to use millimeters. I don't know if it's much more precise, but it's pretty cool. Metric's cool. But when you're raised on standard and it's all you know and you're trying to change your ways and your ideas and limitations and all that good stuff, it's definitely difficult I couldn't imagine people learning new languages and stuff whenever it's all you ever known. Hell, I know gracias, senor, and I know a little bit of Mexican, but not even enough to hold a conversation with anybody. I couldn't imagine trying to learn new languages. I think it'd be best to learn when you're young, when our minds are always pliable. It's just really if you want to learn or not want to learn. But anyway, just jibber jabbering while I'm cutting this, trying to provide a little bit of entertainment and a little of my insight, how I think and all that good stuff. That's all. Anyway, guys, I'm going to get off here and finish this little cut up. We should be almost all the way through it. It's starting to... Oh, there it is, speaking of. So I'm going to get off here, guys, and y'all hang tight, and I'll see y'all at the bench. We'll figure out... We're going to measure that and see if it's 7 millimeters right or how far I'm off. So y'all hang tight. All right, guys, I wasn't too far off. You're looking at 7.9 millimeters. So I was 0.9 millimeters off, so that's not bad. All right, I'm going to get this thing split. I'm going to get it annealed and get it out to back out in the garage and do a little manipulation with it. And we'll get it cut to size and wrapped around and hopefully soldered to this bezel in some sort of cool way. So, all right, guys, y'all hang tight. All right, guys, I think I'm going to actually try to make this a pinky ring. So I'm going to get that sized on down there. We'll get it cut and soldered up and soldered to that bezel, and this should be a done should be a done little project, guys, here pretty quick. Put my mandrel down there. That sucker fell out of that dang second drawer the other day right there and landed right on that damn toe. Woo, talk about snapped up, boys. That stuff hurts. So I started putting my mandrel down there and talk about thick-headed earlier. See, I went up there and tried to do it again. And all right, guys, y'all hang tight. I'm going to see what this don't do right here. We got to go a little smaller. You guys hang tight. I'm going to get this shaped up, shipped up, and I'll see y'all when we're soldering up. Y'all hang tight. All right, guys, I got so excited and I soldered up. I put a little piece of solder. I didn't completely solder the ring up yet. I laid a little solder right there on the joint, and then I laid my bezel on top of it to adhere the bezel to the ring itself. And I did not bring you all along for the ride on that one. And anyway, here we are. I'm just showing you an update where we are, how we stand, and all that good stuff. So it's already adhered to itself. It's kind of already set up and hardened. So I am going to actually flip this thing upside down and begin soldering the bottom end of this thing up. And hopefully all goes well from here. Here we go. Y'all hang tight. All right, guys. I got a couple of little solder balls in there. And we got one there on the edge of the bezel. And we're going to heat this thing up and finish the process. And once that solder ball's heat up and melt away, I am getting off of it because I do not want this thing coming apart. In fact, I'm going to stick my third arm on it before we heat this bad boy up to help keep it together. Here we go. Apply a little pressure to it just to hold it together. All right, guys, here we go. Let's do this thing. Grab my stick solder. I'm gonna have to have some stick solder, I do believe. I'm watching that little bitty solder ball right there getting ready. There it goes. It's starting to take there, guys. Go ahead and hit that with that solder in there. Ooh. Damn. Making a mess of this. All right, guys. We have finished up the teleport ring. It turned out fairly nice. I'm going to give it a C. If I could have polished it up, it probably would have become a C plus ring. It's definitely not the B quality quite yet, but the bezel is nice and uniform. It's very square. It's very nice. I'm very pleased. That's the best bezel of the triangle that I have made this far. The band as well was definitely a failure, so I went with a simple band just to finish the project up. Because I do have an appointment here in a little while that I have to attend, and I just needed to finish this project up. But the band I have an idea what to do next time. I'll definitely do a little bit better next time we do attempt to make this ring. I do plan on recreating the rings that I make throughout time so that I'm able to just come up with the ideas that were originally in my mind as my craftsmanship progresses. I'll definitely begin working on them rings, bringing them all up to code, up to quality, professional type work. And when it comes time to begin casting this stuff, I'll just begin getting the casting equipment in and start casting this stuff and start offering it to the public. But for now, I'm still a beginner. I am coming along. I'm definitely a lot better than I was a month ago. And it's just from repetition, doing basically the same thing over and over again on a daily basis, 6 days a week, sometimes two rings per day. And it's just repetition, guys. And my craftsmanship has definitely came a long ways. And I am very pleased with the outcome of this one today. And yeah, guys, I guess that's it. The teleportation ring has been completed. And I guess that's it. I'm going to leave it with y'all today with that. It is supposed to be a full moon tonight. So like I said, don't be out there howling at the moon. And if you do howl at the moon, hell, do a little howling for me as well. I'm going to stay in and keep my ass nice and calm and not get too wild. So with that all said, guys, I'm going to leave it at that. And like always, I'm going to send a huge energy ball full of energy, full of imagination, full of love, full of joy, and full of connectedness. Coming at you guys. All right, guys, brace yourself and catch that if you can, because if it hits you, it's hitting you hard. All right, we'll see y'all tomorrow. Y'all hang tight.